We're joined from Ramallah by Murad Harfoush, political analyst and expert on Israeli affairs. Welcome to Qnews, Mr. Harfoush. Let me start off by asking you, what are the key elements of Hamas's statement regarding the Gaza ceasefire, and why does the US view the potential for such a ceasefire as being near? Can you hear me, Mr. Harfoush?
Everybody? Yes. In my opinion, the ongoing negotiations and the indicators there to attest to the approaching of a deal, specifically in light of the propositions and the discords that have arisen in the previous negotiation sessions without reaching a deal. In fact, right now, all the indicators attest to the fact that a ceasefire deal is looming in the horizon. And right now we see in the US media that a ceasefire deal is actually approaching, but definitely more negotiations need to be carried out. And, we as well have an issue regarding the Israeli hostages that are going to be released in the first phase. The Israeli occupation forces considers them humanitarian cases, and so they are rushing their release, as well as the release of the Palestinians in Israeli prisons.
Mr. Harfoush, how can we see, in the light of Hamas's demands for guarantees, what does Israel's insistence on removing senior Palestinian prisoners reveal about the broader strategic objectives in Gaza and the West Bank, do you think?
Undoubtedly, Hamas wants international guarantees in order to operationalize the agreement. You know, all the previous agreements were violated by Israel. And we have seen Israel over and over again expanding the war. And so it is only rational for Hamas to request some international guarantees to the enactment of this agreement. As well, Hamas has apprehensions regarding the interim operationalization of this agreement from the end of Israel, and that the enactment of it might not really be sustainable. And so Israel, as we all know, keeps on manipulating the rhetoric and the terms and the items of the agreement provisions. And we have seen Israel do that over and over again in previous instruments. They do that just as a circumvention, and because they want to perpetuate their existence on Palestinian lands and in the different governorates of Palestine, and specifically in the Gaza Strip. They don't want to withdraw from Gaza Strip or from the Philadelphia corridor or axis, and because, you know, these are some pending problematic areas that Israel wants to maintain control over. And for that matter, we find Israel turning around and circumventing
Mr. Harfoush, can I also ask you, when the Israeli Defense Minister Katz had stated that Israel would control Gaza like the West Bank, what underlying political or military strategies do you think could this statement be reflecting, and how might it shape the future of the Israeli policies in Gaza?
The Minister of Defense of Israel, in fact, wants to perpetuate the Israeli presence in Gaza. He doesn't want to withdraw his forces. He wants to maintain presence, as we said, and when the need arises for entering into additional areas of Palestine, they want to guarantee that they have access to these areas, just as what's happening in the West Bank. You know, the Israelis are actually tracking and trying to arrest the Palestinian activists in the West Bank, and they want to impose full control over a lot of areas in the Gaza Strip and in the West Bank as well. And by that, Israel is violating all kinds of instruments and agreements. And in fact, the Liberation Organization, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, wants to fight back these Israeli practices in order to deter the Israelis from perpetuating presence in the Palestinian lands. In fact, Israel has partially wants to partially withdraw from the Gaza Strip, but doesn't want to withdraw from all Palestinian territories. And on top of that, they want to perpetuate the barricade and the siege on the Gaza Strip, and the Israelis do not want at all to provide any guarantees that they are going to withdraw from all Palestinian territories. And for that matter, the Palestinian Authority wants the international community to mobilize some guarantees in order to
and that was from Ramallah. That was Mr. Murad Harfoush, a political analyst and expert on the Israeli affairs. Thank you so much, Mr. Harfoush, for your insights and for being with us today.